Hello, people.
Hi.
Everybody,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
Back in the office, excited about that. COVID
Yeah.
test was negative. Yay!
Yay.
I was tested too. I tested negative.
Good, good.
Thank God. Yep. Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
Scott.
Hey, Cindy. Glad you're back in the office.
Thank you. There's Sandy.
I'm here. You're full.
Guys, yesterday I went to an open house with my clients, and after some Facebook research of the listing agent, found out that they had over 200 people at this open house.
Holy cow.
Luckily, I went in the beginning before anyone, and everyone was safe and wearing masks and stuff. I was like, holy cow, over 200.
Wow.
I heard that from somebody else on Sunday. They said that there were like about 30 people per hour, and there were 2 hours. So they thought there were probably 70 plus people over the course of this 2-hour open house. Who else was out there this weekend and seeing a lot of activity?
Well, I told you I had an open house on Sunday and it was super, super busy. It was in a condo and I had to hold people off from going in to keep the numbers down. But what I was very surprised at was that people did not have masks on. I was handing them out, but it was super busy, very busy.
Yeah, and I did see where Walgreens has boxes of 50 masks and stuff. So if you're holding an open house and you need to go get them, that is definitely something maybe we should, be doing. I think that having, that hit us so close to home here with our agent actually testing positive, right? And then having to shut down the office, that, the threat is real, right? And I shared with some of you guys on the morning huddle this morning that, our bill was almost $7,000 to decontaminate the office, right? Yeah. And so it's a big deal. Not only are people getting sick, but it's just costing ridiculous amounts of money, to ward this stuff off. So if you do an open house, you definitely want to be sure that those folks, that are coming in are wearing masks. And you can just say that that's at the seller's request. The seller requests that you have a mask on when you come in the house. And, at least try to, keep, the people at bay, 10 or so in the house at any given time. I know it's tough, but we got to be sure we're being as safe as we possibly can in those situations, especially when there's that many people mulling around. What else is going on in your real estate world that's good?
I just got a call from Cindy I was all excited about, and she gave me my balances for MLS.
Oh, yeah. So they, Michael.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah, I'm actually excited. There's actually, we have a open house this Friday, Saturday for commercial property up in Holiday. So yeah, definitely a good thing. And couple other small deals going on. I had a lady that just left my house that we just assisted her with a deal. So yeah, things are going good.
good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and I also have an assistant now, my wife.
Hello.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is my second family, but I'm not with you, I'm with them.
It's all good. And we are happy to have him. And you too. And last week we got to see the little one. So, that brightens my day. That face is something. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your family. So everybody does know, if you haven't gotten a call from Cindy, you might be getting one if you have not done your dues for MLS. They had extended that by like 30 days, but now I guess it is due at the end of the month. And so you may be getting a call if you appear on a list that says your dues are still due. She has run into a few people who had already paid that still appeared on the list. So there you go. If you get the call and you don't, you've already paid, then just ignore it. But she's going to make those calls to make sure that nobody gets caught. Okay, so housekeeping stuff, that's it really. I just want to reiterate that if you guys come into the office, and we'd love to see your smiling faces, that when you are in the office that you need to wear your mask in the common areas, and even if you're the only person in the building. So if you're here on a Sunday and there's no one else here, but you are in the common areas, the copy machine and the tables and things like that, if you could be wearing a mask so that you're not leaving your germs on the countertops and on the copier, that would be great. We'd be grateful. So anytime you're in the common areas, even if there are no people around, it is required that you wear your mask. And I am going to figure out here about sharing my screen. All right, I'm in. Everybody see KW Golfside team meeting, June the 17th. And let me make sure I've got. Oh, Taylor. I downloaded it and said enable editing, but now it won't click through. I can scroll, but then you told me I couldn't scroll because it wouldn't.
So when you do the slideshow at the top,
Oh, that's the part I missed. Slideshow
and then
from the beginning. There you, oh, look at that. Woo, full screen and everything. All right, perfect. So let's just start quickly by wishing, oops, backspace, Teresa Colombo a happy birthday this week on 6/21. Love your graphics, Taylor. DTD2, everybody knows that we are on week number 3, D and O. Is that, that is where everybody needs to be on D and O. So if you are accelerating, you're doing 4 letters a week, right? We talked about accelerating the contacts in your database to 4 letters a week. So if you are accelerating, please do. If you are not, get at least your D's and your O's done. And Market Watch. So this one on the left is the Tampa Bay area market activity, and that comes right from Pro. And it shows that the properties listed in the week of 6/6 to 6/12 was 1,180, and there were 2,080 that went under contract. So double the amount of listings that came on the market actually went under contract, and then another 815 closed. So it just continues to speak about the inventory issues that we will continue to have as long as the supply of new listings is far less than the demand of under contracts and sold. And I think that's in the beginning of this conversation. I don't know if you guys were on, but Nikki had talked about an open house that she was on, and Lindsay Wolf talked about an open house that she was at where, Lindsay, how many people did you say ended up through that open house?
I think they had over 200.
Crazy, right? Just crazy. So the demand is high. And so does everybody know about things like the escalation clause and ways that you can get in front of multiple offers? We should probably be talking about things like writing a letter, right? So in the past, when we've had firefighter families or families with small children and they want to raise their children in that home, that you appeal to the senses of the seller with reasons why they should choose your buyer over another buyer. So you got to pull out all the stops when there's this much activity around a single listing and you want your buyer's offer to be accepted, make sure that you are familiar with things like escalation clauses, writing those letters from your buyers, and all the other things that would set you apart from the competition, because there's going to be competition, right? Next, so Mega Camp, we just learned that Mega Camp is also going to be digital this year. So for those of you who are newer to the Market Center, Family Reunion is in February every year, and Mega Camp is in usually August of every year. And Mega Camp is always in Austin, Texas, and it is a smaller version of Family Reunion. And this year it will be digitally, so you will not have to leave your desk. But if you go to megacamp.kw.com now, you just sign up for updates. So they haven't set our pricing out yet or an agenda, but if you enter your email address there and say enter, you'll get updates as they come available for the details on what's going to happen for Mega Camp. So stay tuned for that. Bold Pivot, we had about 40,000 people that went through Bold in this last go around, and they're coming back again in July. It'll be a little different because they're calling it Market of the Moment, so expect that some of the material will be the same, but some of the material will be different. So if you didn't take Bold Pivot, or you want to take it again so that it'll help you to stay on track for your business, that's going to start on July the 14th. And there is a link inside of your agenda. So when you guys got an email from Taylor today, and if you look at the attached agenda, there are lots of hyperlinks in there. So anytime that we're talking about a link, you'll be able to just find that right in your agenda and click through and register for the Mega Camp or for Bold Pivot, whichever suits your fancy, or both. Dan Mack, are you on with us today, my friend? So moving forward, so I'm not sure how, or no, oh, this one, sorry, this says compliance with Pam. Pam Doberly, are you on? All right, so moving forward, we're going to do 2 things in each team meeting. One of them will be compliance with Pam, where she's going to bring out a highlight, something that we may have not known or we may have forgotten. We just found a addendum that's been in our version now in .loop since 2016, and it is the addendum to make a conditional or unconditional withdrawal from the MLS that is attached to your listing agreement. So things like that, as they come up, we're going to have Pam jump in every team meeting and introduce a new, or maybe this next one will be talking about the escalation clause and how that works, and making sure that everybody's familiar with that because of the way that the showings are going with multiple offers. And then the same, we're going to do a tech tip with Dan Mack. So does everybody know that Dan is our tech ambassador for the office? And if you reach out to Taylor and have a tech question and you can't get her right away, and you've reached out to Andrew, or maybe you haven't reached out to Andrew, maybe Dan is your first person and then you go to Andrew, because Dan is really staying up to date on all of the stuff that is going on within the tech community with Ryan and our region, and is to represent our office in that arena. So put Dan on your phone, with his phone number and contact information, and text him when you need help with anything tech. And I'm going to ask Taylor, you want to come in and share screen with me?
Hey, who's Dan?
Dan Matiechki. How do you pronounce his last name, somebody? Yeah, Machetsky. So he hasn't been in since COVID, Michael, and I don't know whether he did share an office with my son and daughter-in-law down the end. He's an agent in the office, been in the office for quite some time, and he's very, very tech savvy. And so when we look to have someone volunteer to be the tech ambassador for the Market Center, Dan stepped up. So you will meet him in the office after COVID slows down a little bit. He's just been working from home, but great guy, volunteered to help the office as tech ambassador.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And you should have gotten an email from him that probably has his contact information. He just sent something out to everybody. Some people got it twice because he sent it through Connect and through BrokerKit. So If you look in your emails, you will probably see that from him, but I can also, if you remind me after this meeting, I can give you his contact information as well.
Yeah,
Great.
he did. He just did an email that said, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know who I am because, you know, Pam is our broker liaison. Does everyone know what a broker liaison is? Right. So broker liaison is the person that you would go to with legal or contract questions before pulling Ginger in. And Pam actually gets paid by our office to facilitate that particular role. That's a paid position. And so really, you guys, she's at your service for that, right? So her cell phone number needs to be in your phone. And when you're on the road or out in the field or in the office and you've got contract questions or legal questions, you always reach out to Pam. The ambassador positions in the office are not paid positions, they're volunteer positions, and Dan is our tech ambassador. So he's the guy that you may go to before Taylor and or Andrew to get a tech question answered, or if you can't reach Andrew or Taylor. So those are the key people around those two places. So we're going to give them a little time in each team meeting to share with us what's going on in their worlds. In absence of Dan today, Taylor is going to help out with this piece. I was notified a while back by, or not a while back, but a week or so ago by Mark Olish that our websites are not ADA compliant. And KW is aware, and there is somebody that is trolling the sites and sending an actual letter or email to the agent saying, you could be in trouble, you're not ADA compliant. So you might get some sort of a letter or an email or a notification that your website's not ADA compliant. We know that and we're working on it, but there are some things that we're going to ask you to do. So this is part of where Taylor's done Loom videos and put them in the agenda so that you can see them, because you have to go in and deactivate your eAgency website. So do you want to expand on that, Taylor?
Yes, so you'll see in your agenda that there are two different Loom video links. There's one for the e-agency, which you can actually deactivate yourself by just pressing a button. So if you watch that, it'll take you through the steps to make sure you get to the right place there. For the e-edge, which is brought to you by Market Leader, you actually have to go in and the video shows you how to access the portal and where to go to request the help, but you actually need to send an email to Market Leader requesting help because you can't deactivate it on your own. If you still use your eEdge website, then also still reach out to Market Leader and ask them, are you ADA compliant? Because we aren't sure what their policies, regulations are, so you might just want to get that in writing so you have verification that the eEdge is in fact ADA compliant. Most people aren't using it anymore, so it's just sitting out there, which is why we're suggesting you deactivate it if you aren't using it still at this point.
So Michael, and I know you're probably confused by all of this because this was prior to you coming on board, in that when we were using eEdge as our database management system and before Command, our websites came from eEdge. And so as an agent, you got two websites. When you signed up to be a Keller Williams agent, you got two websites, an eAgency website and an eEdge website through Market Leader. Those websites are still active. We now have a Command website, and that's the one that mirrors Zillow and has the neighborhoods, and that's the one that we want to be marketing and the one that we want to be using. If you haven't deactivated your old websites, they are still out there and probably not up to date. So agents who have been with us for a while need to go in and deactivate their eAgency website. Michael, you wouldn't have had one set up.
And that's what I'm thinking too, is I don't think I have one set up. I have one set up through Command. So
This wouldn't apply to you. This is just for anybody who I would say probably has been here for more than 8 to 10 months.
Right. So before we were really active in Command and setting each person up on Command. This is, and so I think, to be honest with you, I have one out there somewhere. My team has one, Doherty team, and that's a sitch, right? Because I didn't even realize it. I assumed that they would go away, but they don't. And Market Leader is an outside company that we had partnered with that gave you a free eEdge website back in the day, we can't even deactivate that one. So that Loom video that's in your agenda is telling you how to go and request help from Market Leader for deactivation. So there's 2 sites that are out there for most agents, and both need to be deactivated. One, you can deactivate with a click of a button, and it's easy. The first Loom video that's in your agenda shows you how to do that. The second Loom video shows you how to go to the eEdge website through Market Leader and request help from them to deactivate, because I believe they have to deactivate. If you are using a third party like Playster or Brandco to host your website, which I think Donna is, I think
Greg Miller
Dan
might be.
Tamarkin is, Greg Millar might be, I think Heidi. So we have quite a few agents that are using third party websites. If you have a third party website, you should reach out to them and make sure that your site is ADA compliant with them,
You
right?
put it in writing, like in an email or something. So you
Because
put
I think there will be
verification.
fines down the road if you're not. And it has to do with software that visually impaired people can use that our site doesn't recognize. And the law is that we need to recognize that in order to be ADA compliant. So that's kind of where that whole thing is stemming from. And there's some body or company out there that's trolling these websites and looking for these issues and sending out these letters. So does anybody have any questions about all of that? I know that's a lot. No? Awesome sauce. All right, so here are, so this is really interesting. Taylor found a template for team meetings that adds in some things already for us that KW Connect is doing. So each month there'll be a meeting where we will be introducing some things through KW Connect, and this is some of that we're going to review today. So in this instance, you guys, I want to make sure that you know that you can customize your dashboard. So you get to say if you want your leads to be at the top of the dashboard, if you want the health of your database to be at the top of your dashboard, if you want your task list to be at the top of your dashboard. A lot of people want the leads to be at the top of the dashboard so that every time that you log in, you can see what leads you have. So you see right here on the screen now is where you get to decide what goes on the dashboard and in what order. So go up on your dashboard and click that button that's being highlighted in the top right corner, and that will allow you to customize your dashboard, making sure everybody knows that. This is the playbook widget, which is where Gary Keller and people from the from KW Connect and National will often update videos for you to watch that are changed daily or weekly, and so you can always stay on top of what's going on. So you may put the playbook up at the top of your screen so that you can always have access to new KW Connect stuff. This is an interesting one. I didn't know what this was either, and Taylor brought this up. She said that when you see this button that says On Air Live at the top of your screen, that means that there is a KW Connect live webinar going on. And do you click there?
You can click there to access it, yes. So that's the pivot shift ahead or the Connect live streams, these things you've seen us post about. This it tells you that one is going on right now and you can access it by clicking that.
Pretty cool. And new in Designs in Command. So here's a very cool, we talked this morning on our call. If you weren't there, we'll reiterate a minute. I've been asking all of you to go out to Facebook and do an ad that makes sure, it doesn't even have to be a paid ad, just do a post and talk to your sphere and your social media about the fact that you can offer a Keller Offers cash offer to your buyers, to your sellers. During COVID, a lot of people have come into some money problems, lost jobs, maybe taken the forbearance, and now all of a sudden they need to pay a mortgage payment and they can't, and their situation has changed, and all of a sudden they're considering a cash offer. And there was a Zillow piece out that we talked about in the morning huddle the other day. and it said some 26,000 people had requested a Zillow offer to get a cash offer on their home, and only a small percentage of them had actually used the offer. But what it allowed the other 26,000 people were leads, their seller leads. That's a possible person that needs to actually list their home. So if there's all of that activity, and the fact that OfferPad, Open Door, and Zillow have gotten into this iBuyer business in order to generate seller leads, and they are also in the listing business. They didn't just get into iBuyers, they're now a brokerage because they want to list homes. They realize that there's all these leads coming to them and they can make money listing homes. So if they know that, I think that's happening in our backyard, right, in our sphere. So I've been asking everybody to go out and do posts, and Mindy and Lindsay did one with video, Joe Hankoski did one, and the Straight team did one. And the one that we saw this morning from Mindy and Lindsay had over 369 views in a short period of time. So in designs, you're going to see where there's a bunch of different things that keep coming out that you can do Facebook posts. This isn't a paid ad. You can just go do a nice post. So here's one that is a thank you post, and you get to pick medical professionals, first responders, teachers, grocery clerks. I mean, whatever that group of people is that you want to thank for their service, you can give them a shout out and let them know how grateful you are for them on your Facebook. There is a real cool piece in there. So if I click here, is that going to go up there?
It was just a screenshot.
Oh.
'cause I couldn't
Oh,
pull
gotcha,
it
gotcha.
up, so.
So here you can see that there's a children's activity book in Command. And I think you guys saw, if you've ever been in my buyer's class, that I had done one of these when I would do open houses, that the children could come in and color while mom and dad went through the house. And then they got to take the page home, and I branded the page to me. Well, this is another one where you can actually print this and give this to the children of your buyers before you go to show homes, or you can put this out on Facebook so that they can download it. Their conversation in Command was that with daycares and things being canceled, that parents are home this summer looking for stuff for their kids to do. So how about a house hunting coloring activity book from you? So that's in Command right now. And they've also added for sale bifolds. So sometimes, you know, the seller wants to know what it is that you're going to do to get the home sold and what collateral material. You can go in and actually create this bifold and then print those to have them at your seller's homes for buyers to take. So just another option for you to do something different for your sellers. Anybody have any questions about any of those things that we just covered?
I just wanted to add before anybody chimes in is if you guys need help, so Designs does not have anything Keller Offers related yet. However, Keller Offers has sent me advertising stuff. I sent it all to you guys a couple months ago. If you need that again, you want that again, let me know. I'll see if I can either get updated stuff or I'll resend you what I have as well.
Perfect. I saw somebody asking about that they said that they went to the Facebook page and couldn't download materials. So if you do need materials to do a Keller Offers Facebook post, then, or, you know, you can, and it doesn't even have to be just social media. You can put that stuff out in email format or, you know, text to your consumers. So it's just information about the fact that you have that opportunity to be an iBuyer. So cash buyer. Anybody have questions about any of that?
I just wanted, I believe Becky was having difficulty when she made our post, and she found the design for, she found the advertisements that we used for Keller Offers, because if you're certified, you're part of their Facebook group. And under files, she was able to find what she needed.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
So when you go on a Facebook group on the left-hand side, similar to Bold Pivot, you know, where
Right.
you found all of the Bold Pivot materials on the Facebook page, that if you're on the Keller Offers Facebook page, you can find then under files all of their advertising collateral. So that's another great place to go. Thanks, Nikki. Okay, so next, this is another cool thing that, let's see. Oh, Am I gonna try to see if I can get that screen
Yeah,
shut up?
Because
Okay,
there aren't any more of the like playing itself thing, so you could always do it the
Go
way
back.
you normally do it. It was just the first couple that
Okay.
were.
so in KW Connect throughout front, there are 6 to 8. No, is this the right one? No, the
It's-
kits are the 6
Yeah,
to 8.
this is just
So, okay, so they have added how to host virtual events with your Sphere online. So let me see if I can find, oh, was this it?
Yeah,
Oh, look at
the one.
that. Now, does it have to go over here or is
yeah, I
it
think you
sharing?
have to drag it over to that screen. So I think you're on. Let me see. If it's
So do you guys see right here where it says virtual scavenger hunt? Oh, look at me, technology master. Okay, so when you click the link that Taylor has so graciously put into your agenda, so you don't even have to go find this, there is details on how to host a virtual event that delights and builds goodwill. So here's a virtual scavenger hunt. Choose the date and the time, advertise it. Once everyone's arrived and you've gone through the rules, you set your timer for 1 minute, announce the first item, and the players go and then they gain points. So you're telling them to go search around the house, right? I had said this to one of my girlfriends the other day, she's got a bunch of grandkids. So on a Sunday afternoon, you can get all of your family members together from all over the United States and go do virtual scavenger hunts. I mean, how much fun is that, right? A virtual trivia night, virtual bingo, a coloring contest, and then other virtual classes, maybe a virtual graduation party. So these are ways to stay connected with your people in your sphere in an interactive way that's fun. And it's kind of like a client party. Think about that, right? Sometimes we're saying, oh, go spend $3,000 and do a client party. Well, here's a client party that you don't have to spend any money for. So I would say that's a great idea. And that's all put out by KW. So KWRI, and Taylor has put the information in the team, in your agenda about where to find that. So,
that one, yeah.
oh,
There you go.
sweet. So how about, what happened to my screen?
Look it up in there.
Oh,
That one maybe?
look at that. Oh,
We're
man.
figuring it out.
We got it. Okay. So this is the one about trivia night. This is the one about bingo. This is the one about the coloring contest and a graduation party. So go on and use some of the tools that KW is providing for you in teaching you how to host a virtual event. Next is new client communication kits, which this is very interesting. So each of these kits that is available to you through KW Connect, and again, the link is in your agenda, is a kit that's going to help you communicate with your clients over a range of topics, including getting your house ready to sell, video home tours, protecting your credit score, preparing for tax day. Each kit contains an email, a call script, text scripts, and a social post. And there are currently 6 to 8 of those that are available. I'm going to attempt to go to, I think I need to go to my email really quick. Can I do that?
Wasn't it a
And-
Word document?
Oh, is it? Oh, geez, oh, Pete. See, we're just, huh. So here is what you'll find for tax day. And it's going to be an email, including the subject line, body copy, and images for the header, call scripts, text scripts, and social posts. So here is everything that you need to do a campaign around tax day for your sphere of influence by making phone calls, texting, and social posting. So there are 6 of these kits that are available at KW Connect, and the link is in your agenda. And there are 6 of them. Let me see if I can get this other one back. There are 6 of them currently. COVID-19, getting your house ready to sell. So that's a kit that if you really had a seller that you could use to communicate with them about I'm so happy I'm meeting you next Tuesday. Here's some information about getting your house ready to sell, right? So that's even a kit that can be used to market to people who may not be thinking about selling, but think about it as a tool to use once someone has said, I want to sell. This is teaching, there's another one about teaching video, video home tours, protecting your credit score, preparing for tax day, avoiding scams, and other financial wellness measures. So go on to the link that's in your agenda and just at least give a look-see over these different kits and see if there's anything that can help you to make the communicate with your sphere. Anybody have any questions on any of that? Okay, more tools. 66-day challenge. So everybody, back. What's his name? Nick Baldwin. Yeah, Nick Baldwin has done, I think, 4 66-day challenge since Command has come out. And he used to do a video every morning with a new tech tip. This time, what his 66-day challenge to you is to get people to download your app. And so he's given you 66 days of things to do to get people to download your app. And so in truth, 66 days it takes, they say, to create a habit. So the conversation is that if every day for 66 days you focused on getting people to download your app, it would become habitual for you. Every then day when you see somebody out at a restaurant, or you're at the checkout line in the grocery store, or you're you know, waiting for you're with your Amazon delivery person, you know, it's really, he's asking you to think outside of the box around who might be an opportunity to get them to download your app, right? So he's asking you to practice this for 66 days in order to become proficient at using this as a tool in your real estate business.
And these PDFs are in your email documents that you guys got before this meeting. So you can print them out yourself to visualize.
Awesome. Next slide. So we know that Gary Keller, Think Like a CEO, has a podcast. Well, there is a new one that is starting.
It already did
Oh,
start.
it did start. It was June 1st. So it's an empire building podcast. And these 4 women, Wendy Papasan, you know, they're all KW women who have built big teams and businesses, and they're doing a podcast. So here's where you can subscribe and listen. Upcoming events. So there is a virtual new homes tour with David Weekly Homes, and that's today. Oh, yeah, today at 1. Tomorrow at 12:30, Van Dyke Mortgage is doing a piece. For the first time, we're going to have Saturday training opportunities with Andrew. So if you are unable to get to opportunities trainings Monday through Friday, you now have an opportunity to do that on Saturday. And then a more command training is happening on Monday at noon and Monday at 1. Let me check and see in this chat. Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry's podcast is also great. Thank you, Lindsay Wolf. That is a good one. Everything Life and Real Estate. So if you're subscribing to podcasts, add Everything Life and Real Estate to your listening list. What to do before listing the house, Greg Millar. Also, do we have anything on relocation services? So what to do before. So Greg, can you comment? What are you looking for on what to do before listing my house?
Yeah, it's all right. Weren't you talking about some document about
How to prepare. Yeah, so that is a kit, right? So it's on KW Connect. So the link is in your agenda. It is under client communication kits. So it's about the middle of your agenda. And it is KW Connect /search and then some numbers, and it says client communication kits. So there's 6 kits there, and one of them is how to prepare your house to sell. In that kit, you're going to find scripts, texts, social media posts, and all of the things that you need to have that conversation with people in your sphere. So Greg, go to that link and you will find that kit there, which should have everything that you're looking for. And we don't have anything on relocation services at the moment, but we have been talking about that. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Queen is looking for the designs for Keller Offers. And Barb would also like the designs for Keller Offers. So we'll go ahead and get those out to you guys. Let's see. My next one. Oops. How come it's not going there? Oh, there you go. Last one. So bucket fills. So tell me what else is going on in your real estate business that has been going well, good. Kudos to somebody in your world. Just let's have a little open dialogue. And if you've got new listings coming or buyer needs that you want to talk about, let's just open the floor.
I'm excited to have a new buyer in the 500 to 600,000 range.
Awesome, Susan. Now, where did that buyer come from?
Facebook.
So everybody knows that Susan is really working hard to continue to establish and reestablish her Facebook groups. So she has groups out there like Explore Dunedin. Is that right, Susan?
Yes, correct.
What are some of the other ones that you have?
They all start with Explore. It's pretty much all of Pinellas County. So Explore Tarpon Springs, Explore Dunedin, Explore St. Pete, etc.
Right. So she's created these Facebook groups. She puts good content in there about things that are going on in those communities. And then she invites people and she says purposefully that other realtors can't join. She's the realtor of choice in the group. And because she's putting in all of her time and energy to create these groups and provide content, that she is going to be the only realtor in the group, right? And
Right.
during COVID, I think, Donna, didn't you guys start a Facebook group?
Yes, we did. It was called Pinellas Connections.
Pinellas Connections, where she was trying to connect vendor businesses and people that needed things during COVID and supplies. So if you think about what Susan's doing, she's not doing it just for an event. She's doing it for life, right? That is something that she wants to develop. So, you know, think about something that you're passionate about or something that you really enjoy. And it could be dogs. It could be benefits for Alzheimer's. It could be something that connects to you, and go start a Facebook group, right? And have conversations with people about something that is connected, and you be the realtor of choice that provides the content. And you certainly don't have to, you know, allow other realtors in that group, because that's the purpose of me giving my time to my group, right? So she just is talking about getting a $500,000 to $600,000 buyer out of one of her Facebook groups. And we've had some recent conversations, Susan and I, about quite a bit of activity that's come out of her groups. So get on social media and create a group.
The thing that's
You know-
especially nice with this is, you know, a lot of people weren't able to make it back here that visit and whatnot. I take pictures now when I go on my walks, so I'm getting some exercise in. I go with a friend, so I'm getting the social in, and people are seeing the pictures and they're just like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite place. I had one guy say, every time I go by the Safety Harbor Fountain, my wife and I kiss because it's good luck. So I don't remember where she was at the time, Missouri, I don't know, but he said, so I made her give me a kiss when we looked at the picture. And I'm like, that's just sweet. It's like, not only am I getting business, but I'm hearing all these sweet stories. A mom was in New York City, a nurse, and she was helping out, and her son was turning 14. And so she asked for people to drive by his house to wish him a happy birthday in my community group. So people in my community group went and drove by his house, and it was really neat for him. So it's something I'm passionate about and I love, and people see that, and it's a fun way for me to get leads.
Right. So she's found a way to connect with the community, found a way that she enjoys communicating with people in her sphere, and now made that a source of leads, right? So you know, do a community group. Greg Millar, you should have a beach community group of some sort, right?
There's actually several already out there. I'm a member of all of them. And yeah, I communicate with a lot of people on those.
Yeah, and if you created your own group as the realtor of choice that was providing the content, then you get to direct that group, right? And then they get to know you as that community person, the go-to person, right? So find a way to connect with your people, your community, and your sphere through social media. So that's a good one. Anybody else have anything that they want to share that's going on good, that's a buyer need or a listing coming or something good that's happened to you in the last week?
I
You
want to
know-
give a shout out to Mickey McKinnon. She had a really tough seller this weekend, and she went to Motivation and got the deal done. It was a tough one, and I just really great effort. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
So, Mickey, do you have anything that you can share about what was that motivation conversation like? Tell me a little bit about that.
Like I was telling Joe, you know, all my years, I've been in real estate for a while, back north and stuff. And she was just very, very difficult, I have to say. And anything I said, she wouldn't listen. You know, I want this amount of money, this. So it's been on for a little over a month. And a week ago on Monday, she's like, I'm done. We're going to take the contract. I'm finished. I'm like, Margaret, why? What do you mean? So I was talking to her and I'm like, give me 2 more weeks. Cause there's other condos in that building on the same floor that have been listed longer than hers, still nothing. She goes, I'll give you 1 week. And you know, it worked. But I even called Joe because I was like, I wasn't even sleeping Saturday night. I'm like, what am I going to say to her on Sunday? Because she wasn't happy even with the offer, which was a good offer, cash offer, mind you. But anyway, so I even called Joe. I'm like, Joe, where do I begin this conversation? And he said, Mickey, go back to her motivation. And I did. And we had the talk. And I'm like, Margaret, why do you want to move? They're going back to her original country where they're from. What is that going to do for her? Because her mother needs the health insurance. I'm like, why did you hire me to sell it? I'm like, and here I have a contract. And I'm telling you, God was on my side. He was looking.
So it's
And
not
it
just
worked.
in God being on your side, right? That's the deal. It is asking all of the right questions, and almost always they're focused around someone's motivation. Like we can't force someone to do something that they're not going to do. If we've dug deep enough to know the real why, and we can continue to bring them back to the why, we can keep them out of the minutia. What happens is when they're doing the listing, they got the why. When you go down and get the offers, now they're in the emotion. They've left the whole reason why and the motivation, and they've gone to emotion. Well, I'm not going to pay that guy's closing costs, and I'm not going to do that for my roof, and I love the kitchen the way it is, and I'm sorry they don't like it. And now they're all caught up in emotion, and they forget what motivated them in the first place. And so our job, decision facilitators, is to bring them back to the emotion. But the motivation, but if you don't know what that motivation is, there's a tough one, right? So
Yeah.
you knew you could bring her back to the mom, the insurance, the real thing around it, which then makes the emotional stuff fall off in favor of the motivation. So good job, Mickey. Love it. Love it.
You know, the other thing I wanted to tell, I was really excited. When Philip was working and Philip and I were working together, we started a Facebook group, and it's called Moving to Paradise. And we didn't do much with it, but over the past month, I've been focusing a lot on it. And I have a buyer under contract who joined my Facebook group, and I am the only realtor in that one too. I don't let other realtors in. And we're scheduled to close July 7th from this Facebook group. So it works.
It does work. And that was an interesting conversation that I had with Susan when she got the aha that, you know, this is for real. I spend an inordinate amount of hourly time creating the content for this group, and I deserve to get the leads that come from it. And so you are allowed to say no other realtors are getting in because these are my peeps, right? So yeah, good for you. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who else has something? What, Anna?
I have something good. So, my oops, sorry, my Google Voice is going off. So my coach and I were talking about, I'm big on farming and client events, and I'm a not a cold caller, right? I like the people. So, we were talking about doing some sort of reverse prospecting, like Amber was talking about the reverse bold 100, where people call in because you're giving something away. So I was originally going to give away like a big green egg and get a sponsor and help split the cost, because those are very expensive, come to find out. And so I kept thinking, I'm like, gosh, this is just a lot of money. Yes, it could probably generate some leads, but what else, if I didn't have the money, could I do to still create the same effect? So what we came up with was my neighborhood. I've been starting to coordinate a food truck to come in once every 2 weeks, and I send it out on our neighborhood Facebook page. So I said, I'm going to host the one for July 4th. We're going to bring in a barbecue food truck. Everybody pays for their own food. You can pre-order if you want. You can just take it to go. You can, sit and hang out if you want. I'll have a bounce house at our house, whatever your comfort level is. If you just want to come in and grab your stuff and go, you can certainly do that. And the response has been amazing. And so I have literally spent the rental fee for the bounce house. So it's like $200. So I already slashed my budget by about 80%, and everyone's paying for their own food. I'm inviting some past clients, and everyone's willing to chip in to help support another local business. So if you have any if you're in any communities where that might be fun, because especially if you have to stand 6 feet apart, it creates a big long line that I just then go from person to person, and I start walking down, and I hang out with them. Hey, I haven't met you yet. You're at my house, or hey, I live right down the street. Have I met you yet? And so people are standing in line longer. So it's creating more opportunities to have a conversation about real estate. So food trucks.
So that's an awesome idea. And when you say the response has been great, would you say you've had 40 people that have RSVP'd, or 10?
Oh, more than that. So I even opened it up to people at my gym. If you're familiar with CrossFit, there's a big workout that's typically done over Memorial Day weekend, but that was, that didn't happen. So they moved it to July 4th. And originally they said, oh, we'll have a barbecue if people can bring in grills, whatever. And I was like, why don't you just swing by our house? We're having a barbecue food truck. And so all these people, I literally probably have at least 80 people within like 3 hours of the time frame are going to come in and either just grab and go, or going to hang out. And so I was talking to neighbors, and I said, can you help me promote this? Because I can't go door knocking right now. And so people are like, oh my gosh, I'll start calling all of the other neighbors. And I said, will you do me a favor and send me their phone numbers, or at least give them mine, so they can then call me if they have any questions, since it's going to be at my house. And they're like, absolutely, whatever I could do to help. That sounds amazing. And I'm like, done. That's so much easier. And people are excited. They're like, absolutely, I'd love to help us, a small business as well. And have the kids run around for a half hour, and then we go eat lunch at home. So
I think that I saw Mindy Baird post one day about the Kona ice truck that had come through her neighborhood. Think about that, right? So if you are in a kid-friendly neighborhood, or you've got kids yourselves, this is a Ty and Ashley thing, right? Where you could get the Kona ice truck to come out to a park, and then everybody could come, and then they get their Kona ices, and then they get to just play in the park. And then, there's social distancing because you've got lots of room outside to go play. So, that could be a great summer fun type of a client party. So absolutely think outside of the box. That's a great job, Anna. I love it. Anybody else have anything that they want to share?
Hey, Sandy, it's Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, I got 2 shout outs. One is to Sarah, who's been doing a lot of Facebook ads, and she's really gotten a lot of clients through the Facebook's ads that she's been running. And they're good leads as well. So one of the clients that she's working with is a first-time home buyer, and we entered into a multiple offer situation. And it just so happens that that buyer is in the Coast Guard. So Sarah asked them to write out a letter, sent the letter in with the offer, and the seller has decided to work with us because of the letter that he had written. Although his offer was less than what the other offers was, but because he was, because of that letter, they have decided to work with us and coming up with the right offer amount, which I think we can get there.
It's awesome. And that is, right, that's the market that we're in. We used to do that some, time back when I first started in the business, writing the letters and then, having pre-qualified or more than pre-qualified. So if you get your buyer through underwriting so that it is not just they've checked the credit, but if they've already gone out as far as to verify income and check on the debt to credit ratios and where's the down payment coming from, and you can go to the listing agent and say, here's a letter from my buyer about why they love your home and what they want to raise their family. Here is a letter from the lender that speaks to the fact that they are through the underwriting process, right? You can really help to hedge your bets about getting your offer accepted with a seller. And I think that, that is what sets us apart, right? So go do all of those great things. And kudos to Sarah, because she's new in the business, and kudos to you for coaching her along those lines, Greg, because, that is stuff that other agents aren't doing. So go do over and above, and it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. So the other shout out, excuse me, is to Patty, actually. So Patty's out in Minnesota and she's been there for the past 2 months, but she hasn't stopped marketing her area where she lives. As a matter of fact, I have a listing appointment that she has set up for tomorrow. And we are about 99% sure that we're going to get the listing.
It's 100.
It's going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house on Crystal Island. For those of you that don't know where Crystal Island is, it's in Madeira Beach. It's a separate island on the intercoastal side. We're unsure about the price yet. I haven't actually done my homework yet on it, but it'll be priced anywhere between $700,000 to $800,000. It's all intercoastal. It's open water, so it's a nice home. It's also it would also be a nice home for redevelopment. So, but I wanted to have that shout out for Patty, even though she's not in the area, she's still making calls and has set up that listing appointment for
So
me.
many of you guys have never even met Patty. Patty was with us and then left with Greg when he left, and then came back with Greg when he came back. And she's amazing, and she lives in Madeira Beach, and she's got a sphere and a group of people that she works with in that Madeira Beach area because that's her connection and that's where she's comfortable and that's what she likes, and she networks in that group. And so here, even though she's not even been in the market center or been in the market for months, she still continues to reach out to those people, and it's garnered them a listing. So yeah, kudos to Patty too then. Awesome sauce.
I have another shout out.
Get it, Joe.
Greg, for referring Patty to me up here in North Carolina. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim.
North Carolina?
When Patty said, hey, we're thinking about selling our Minnesota cabin and moving over to North Carolina, I said, well, you need to give Joe a call. So I'm glad she called.
I love it.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate it.
You betcha.
Anybody else have anything? So I have one that came, Cindy just handed this off to me after we had already made our PowerPoint for the team meeting, and it says, Dear Hastings team, congratulations. We are delighted to see that your team is among the top in the region, ranked number 6 in closed units among teams for Keller Williams Realty in South Florida in May 2020.
Well, what do you know? How did that happen?
On his face. Yeah, it's an honor to have you as part of our family, and we wish you continued success and accomplishments throughout this year and beyond. Here's to your success, Mark Olish, Regional Director. So I have your letter, Donna, and I will bring it to you. So congratulations. That's the month of May for closed units, right? So that's, right in the heart of all of this COVID. She's number 6 in the region. So I just appreciate all of you guys in this group and the commitment that you've made during these tough times to still be on these Zooms and still be having these conversations and, putting out the Facebook posts and, doing all of the things necessary to stay at the top of your game. It's going to pay off well, and your clients deserve you and need you. So stay after it. And that's all I got for today. Anybody else have anything else that they want to add? All right, you guys. So go enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, we'll see you on the morning huddle because there's always something good that comes out of that quick 20 minutes to get your day started. So see you on the morning huddle tomorrow. And if you need anything, we are back in the office. Whoop, whoop. Test all negative. Cindy, me. How about Jen? Have we heard from Jen? We have Jen. We're waiting on Jen's test results, but Taylor's in, Cindy's in, I'm in, and we're all tested negative. So we're back in the office. Come on in and call if you need anything. Thanks, guys.
Everybody,
Bye.
good job, Sandy.
Thanks, Michael.